What is happening, guys? Wow, like Brent wasn't on like 2 seconds ago, and then all of a sudden, Pat's like, "I'm gonna press live," and here comes Brent Fowler live.
And Brent, what we said we are gonna do was buy time for you. We're like, we're gonna say hi to the people. We're not gonna talk about the topic yet. And then Brent joined straight in, which is that must have been a wild situation for you, Brent. That would have been like, what's happening?
I was like, really? Okay, I get to
hilarious. It was
or
so funny.
Y'all were giving me an intro, for my personal intro.
We were.
So yeah,
we
that's
were
how I'll
giving
do
your
to look
personal
at
intro.
it. Yeah.
Well, we saw that we saw your message earlier, and I was like, oh man, he had some tech issues. So I was like, let's just start to like get the people going, and then no. Yeah. Well, I'm glad we've all made it at the same time. We have a lot of highs, so that's good.
So yeah, guys, welcome to the show. A great intro right here. I think we're gonna have a fun little show for you today. Of course, I'm Mike Spider Slayer from Comic Book Corner 2.0. The man that made his grand entrance today is Brant from Only Good Comics.
What's up?
And then, of course, we have the wonderful Cat Comic Uno. And she's here delivering all our wonderful news that we got this week. But not too much news. Am I right, Kat?
Not much at all. We have a good topic to talk about, but there is not much news. But we do have a couple cool comments here. We got Groski, who says, thank you, Mike, Kat, and Brant, for consistently delivering on these Tuesday night chats. It truly adds to fun on Wednesday. Very much appreciated. Yeah, I don't know what my comic routine would be without this in the review. Like, it's fun that I get, we read our comics and then we do our videos to have like that extra interactive element. But then Tuesday is really fun because then you get to digest those comics and then talk about it. Like you might feel like really strongly about a book, and then I'll be like, oh, I really dislike that book. So that's really fun, and I'm glad you guys feel the same way, because I think the interactive experience is great about comics.
I think that's what helps me retain the comic more. Because a lot of people make a comment to me and they go, how do you remember so much about the particular story that goes on in the comic book from a month-to-month basis? And I really do think it's not the initial read of this story. It's the initial, it's like talking about the story. Like I'll talk about the story in my videos, and then I'll talk about it again here. And then you can't help but to remember what happened. You can't always remember everything, but you at least have a general idea of, you remember what that story is about, right?
Yeah. And I'm the same way. Like often when we're just on this show, I'll try to remember stuff, and it's like it's out of my head. But after we're talking about it, and like you said, we do our individual videos and everything, it just kind of sticks with you a little bit more. So it's just that repetition of discussing it and everything that kind of leaves it sticking in your mind, which is great. So, but like you both, I don't know what I'd do without this either. It'd be weird. We've been doing it for so long.
I know.
It's funny. I was telling Mike, I had a really long day today, like just work stuff. And then I had a podcast before this for work. And then, I think normally people feel like, you have another podcast. That's crazy. Like, doesn't that feel like work? I'm like, yeah, I think everything else a little bit feels like work, but this never, like, this is something I look forward to. Like, it's like, it doesn't feel like work. It just like, I'm talking to my buddies that I've known for 50 plus years about comics.
It's like kind of like chill. You don't have to be like 100% professional on it,
right.
And we're just talking and with the audience and whatnot, and just we know each other so well. It's just kind of just like, okay, let's go with it,
Yeah,
exactly. So it's fun. We do have Bill Moscow art. It says congratulations on the Kickstarter. So to give you guys an update on the comic book anthology, it did fund. We were very excited and happy about that. We had 2 really major backers for that one, so we were happy about that. And I'll talk about Witching Season later, which is another campaign we have. And then there's one more Spider-Man question, and then we'll go to the news. But which Spider-Man is this week? Which is not this week. I believe it's the week after. But is it Norman or Peter? I believe Peter's.
Peter.
It'll be Peter.
Which I don't care.
Yeah, right? Yeah, me either.
Norman's story is much better.
It was funny because I did my top 10 most anticipated video, and I was recording it, and I'm like, it's like not even in my top 10. Like I mentioned it, but it's not there because it's like I don't care about that cosmic side as much.
Yeah,
me either. I like the art, but other than that,
I agree
with
you.
more. I like Spider-Man torn more than I think the cosmic.
But it's like it's funny because he's in space, so he's got to have like some kind of space spider suit, right? And it's just like, and then he's got to have a symbiote there. It's like, why? Why does he have to have a symbiote? Why can't it just be completely different? Why can't he not have a suit? Why can't he not have a symbiote, right?
Why can't he not be in space? Because I don't like that either.
I just I know we talked about it already, but it's like one of those things where it was like, we could have just not had Peter. That's all. Not a mystery.
I still think that would have been better, but I'm curious for the people in the comments. Does anyone like Cosmic Peter more than the Norman stuff? I'd be curious.
Yeah.
Yep, absolutely.
I feel like I'm in
Go on, Brent.
60s Batman here. Like my camera feels crooked or something. Like I'm in this slanted room. You know what I'm talking about?
Is your room like? Do you have a low ceiling in there?
It's slanted, like right above my head. It's slanted, so it's a little alcove that I'm in.
Okay, gotcha.
But yeah, the house is also unlevel. Like everything, just like the doors close by themselves and everything. It's just slightly slanted. So.
That's funny.
Oh, we do have one more question before we get into the news. Tyler Durden says, did you guys see the creators of SWAT Cats just launched a Kickstarter for SWAT Cats comic drawn by Jorge Corona? I saw the Kickstarter. I don't know what SWAT Cats is, though.
So really? It's an old cartoon. Yeah,
that's what I figured.
Yeah.
But I didn't know much about it. But I'm like, that's cool, but not in my wheelhouse.
I remember it vaguely. I don't remember too much about it, but I do remember its existence. I didn't know there was a comic, though. That's cool, though.
Were you younger when it came out, or were you older?
I think it was the 90s, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
Do you remember
they fly like a jet and wear costumes and shit?
I think so.
Yeah, 1993 it looks like. It only lasted 2 seasons.
Yeah, it was around the same time they were doing a lot of shows like that, like Cops and you know, there was different ones. There was a lot of like law enforcement kind of stuff going on around it.
And it was on TBS. Okay. That's that's such an interesting thing.
Yeah, that explains why I don't know much about it. I don't remember a lot of cartoons there. Yeah,
or I never saw reruns of it. That's why I saw the Kickstarter, and obviously I saw Jorge, and then like people were talking about it, but I just didn't really know much about it. But those tend to do. Yeah, right now it's 1,300 backers. Like those tend to do well because it's so specific. I was literally just on another podcast talking about that, where it's just like the more specific on Kickstarter, the better. Like Kickstarter is about niche things that.
Yeah,
you wouldn't think sells really well in the direct market. Maybe it would sell if you gave it a chance. It sells really well on Kickstarter. I was also saying the idea that like your Geigers, your Batmans do really well for the direct market. But then for Kickstarter, female leads are really the biggest comics on Kickstarter. If you have a female lead, you'll make a lot more money and you'll make a lot more backers. Or you have niche things like this where it's just like a set group of people love this thing and they want this product.
Yeah, that's not the Kickstarter. That's just the cartoon. I just wanted to pull it up.
That's the 100% what I was thinking.
Yeah.
God, it like unlocked a memory. Like I forgot those things even existed. Yeah.
All right, now we're gonna get into some news, and we actually have a lot of TV news, but bigger TV news. So the Energon Universe, Skybound, Hasbro, they are doing animated series adaptations of their stuff. That is like, because like I think of course they were gonna do it. I don't know when they were gonna do it, but it's Robert Kirkman. I don't think he's made a comic and didn't make it into a TV show in some way.
Yeah, plus I mean it's Transformers and G.I. Joe and stuff. It's made for that, right? So it'd be weird not to.
Mm-hmm.
So but
I mean it's
really cool.
Yeah. It's a big deal though. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And I think like there's gonna be a lot of eyes on that project when it does come out. I mean, you have generations of, what's it called? G.I. Joe and Transformers fans watching, and so they're going to really analyze that pretty good. I hope that it will deliver. I mean, again, it's Robert Kirkman. I can't sit there and say that it's going to be a bad project, but
I think it could be a retelling. I think just like Invincible, like there's very minute changes, but for the most part, it's a retelling of that comic. So I think that's he's probably going to do that in animated form and make it a retelling.
So if anything, what it's going to do is it's going to get people that maybe have never read the comics that have most recently come out, and it's going to get people interested, because how many people read Invincible before Invincible actually came out?
Sure.
And then all of a sudden, Invincible became one of the most popular comic books in the aftermarket now. Like, look at how expensive that comic book is. Whereas before, freaking nobody, it wasn't worth nearly as much as it is even now, you know?
Right.
Well, even I remember when I was working for Newsarama years ago, like I had to do it, like I had to go to a Transformers panel to cover it and just like say what news was there. And there was like 20 people. Oh, there's a bug near me. Anyways, sorry. I was like, there was a big ass bug.
Hold on a second. That was the most girl thing I've ever seen you do in my life. You were just like, oh my God, there's a bug.
And it's so funny because I'm not usually scared of bugs, but it was like so close. Like Phil is so scared of bugs. Like he'll go like, he'll be like, oh no! And I'm like, whatever, it's a bug, just put it out. But it was so close to my face. I'm like, what the fuck is that?
I freaking hate bugs. Do you guys remember, sidetrack real quick, do you guys remember when I had the office space and a wasp got in during the live show and I just like jumped up and ran out of frame? That's crazy.
Yeah, bugs, to get them out of our faces. But what I was saying about the Transformers thing was that there was like no one there, and there's just one person explaining everything about Transformers to me. I was like, I don't care that much, but sure, explain it to me. And now you look at the pictures for New York Comic Con, and like they filled rooms and rooms because obviously the comics fans are excited and the Transformers fans are excited. So it's cool to see the growth of that franchise.
Absolutely.
All right, let's get into the next thing, which is Something is Killing the Children is getting a movie and TV show adaptation by Blumhouse. What I thought was interesting about this was the idea is a TV show and a movie, because I was just like, oh, usually pick one or the other, but I know they have the two franchises, so I'm guessing they'll do like Something is Killing the Children movie, and then they'll do what is the other comic called?
House of Slaughter.
House of Slaughter TV show.
The only thing I can think of, maybe Brant, you might agree with me here. Maybe they could do with like, kind of like what Stranger Things is doing, where they'll come up with like a series, and then there's this show, and then eventually maybe the last episodes go into the movie theaters, because that's what again, Stranger Things is doing. I could be completely off there, but maybe.
Well, I would agree with that, except for this actual article says that the show is actually going to be an adult animated series. So that changes it completely. So it's like, okay, they're doing an animation and a movie. So that makes more sense. The movie's live action.
Gotcha.
And obviously this is going to make James Tynion a Robert Kirkman level name if this does well. And which I think it has the potential to do very well because it's been such a big comic. Right. But yeah, if this succeeds, then we're gonna definitely see that, I think. So it really depends if it picks up. Because then also you have seen other stuff too, like Revival was just a TV show. No one talked about it, you know?
Yeah, I did watch most of that. I think I've still got a couple episodes left, but yeah, it's not quite the same. I'll be curious to see how they handle the two different formats then. Like, what do they focus on for the animation that they do differently for the live action and stuff like that? So, I don't know. I could see it being more, fight the monster kind of thing in the animation, where it's more, a specific story arc or plot for the movie. It'd be interesting.
True. Yeah, that will be interesting, unless they're just going for two completely different things.
True.
Maybe it's just like, oh, we're just going to do an animated style here, and then we're just going to come up with a movie over on this side,
Yeah.
Maybe like a Scott Pilgrim thing, because like the movie was live action and very different than they made a manga-esque anime version of the show that were both successful. So
it could totally be that. I mean, just like how we get Batman live action movies and then you get Batman animated movies.
Yeah.
It could be something like that,
Right.
Yeah. So those are all the media news. We have 2 other topics. One is going to be very quick. I just thought it was interesting, and then we'll move on to our main topic. But Luna Snow is getting a one-shot with Dazzler. The reason I thought it was interesting is I don't know anything about this character, but she's a K-pop singer, I think, from Marvel Rivals. So it's just like, oh, wow, that's so interesting that you have like an 80s character with this very, very, very Gen Z character together.
Yeah.
But I just thought that was an interesting vibe.
Yeah, she's a singer too, though, right?
Yeah, she is. She's a K-pop singer. She's been in the comics too, in the with the Korean and Asian characters.
I forgot what that series was called, but
I can never remember what it's called either. But I do remember like some of even the superheroes being starstruck when she would show up and that kind of thing. So it does make sense in that way. So, but I get your like generation gap thing there. That's kind of interesting.
Yeah, I just thought that was interesting. I was just like, oh, I'll pick it up and maybe I'll become a fan of this character because
I don't even think they're gonna do like the generational gap. I think they're gonna put it in where she's K-pop and like Dazzler's like a Taylor Swift. I think that's probably
not disco, more Taylor. Right. That's cool too, though. Then it's different commentary on music. I just think that's the way to do a one shot to make it interesting because we have had a lot of Dazzler stories and they've all kind of been the same. So it'll be nice to see something different. So now we're leading into our main topic, which is that Marvel has announced that Jed MacKay is ending his run on Avengers, and that's going to be with Avengers issue 800, the milestone issue, which is actually Avengers issue 34. And I think this comes out in, I don't know if it has a date. I'm trying to figure out when it comes out. I guess, December. So this is the last issue is December. January, we'll get a new team. So we'll talk about Jed MacKay ending his run, and then we're going to talk about what we want to see from the Avengers. What's the roster we want? What's the creative team we want? Jed MacKay leaving doesn't affect me. I read the first arc, and I didn't continue it, which is sad because I really like his writing, but also shows maybe editorial is never going to move on some things. And, that's obviously a conversation.
Yeah, it's hard because I love his Black Cat. I'm a fan of Moon Knight and stuff, but his Avengers run has been lackluster, unfortunately, at least for me, for us. So it's like, okay, I'm glad he got the opportunity. I'm glad he wrote Avengers. That's cool, but I'm ready for something new. I'm ready for something fresh. So yeah, that's where I stand.
Yeah, I agree 100%. I mean, I read a decent amount. I kept on giving it a shot after shot after shot. And I read it up to 20 or something like that, or 20 something. And I could not, it was the same thing over and over and over. It was just so repetitive. I think Brant, based off of what you said, they're still dealing with flipping Kane and the characters that were in there. And it's like, oh my God, like really?
That's the current arc. They're right back into that right now.
Right.
So yeah, it's crazy how long that particular story thread has gone on.
And I like Jed MacKay also. I mean, we all do because of the stuff that he has done with like Black Cat and other stories and like this. But I think he is a weaker team writer in my opinion. Even though he writes Moon Knight with supporting cast,
right?
He tends to write that better, though.
Same thing with Black Cat. There was a lot of supporting cast in Black Cat, so it's a lot of characters. It's just when you're having to balance all headliner characters as opposed to one main character and a bunch of supporting characters, it's different. So
correct.
I don't disagree. So let's get into who do you want to write Avengers? I want to see what the hell Donny Cates is doing because I've been seeing him at conventions. I've been seeing him talking on Blue Sky, but I'm like, what's next for him? I want to know what's up because like I have seen him at conventions, so he's doing better. And again, he's been teasing stuff on Blue Sky. I literally this week he said, I need a new artist for a big project. I was like, okay, cool. Let's see Donny Cates. But I don't know if he's gonna do it. Like, I don't think he'll do Avengers. But I don't know who else should do Avengers. I'm like, just like again. Biggest thing I would love Joshua Williamson, but he's not going to. He's doing Iron Man. So I don't know if I have anybody I want for Avengers.
For writers, I put, believe it or not, Kat, I put Donny Cates.
That's funny.
And then I also put Daniel Warren Johnson.
That would be cool.
Yeah, it would be cool to see him write like a team book like that.
like a
And
12
then
issue mini, even like I wouldn't even
right,
take him for 12 issues.
right. And then the artist that I selected was Jason Fabok
Oh yeah.
or Gary Frank. One of those two.
All the people that are definitely gonna say a Ghost Machine. I'm not
Yeah, all the Ghost
Machine.
But they are the best. Like Gary Frank, really good. Jason Fabok, flipping awesome when it comes to him on Rook Exodus.
Yeah.
I would love to see a Avengers title with that type of artwork. It would look phenomenal.
I can see Russell Doderman because he's doing the cover, and he did Thor for a very long time, and the interiors are great.
Yeah, I love Jason Fabok's art. I absolutely am in love with that. Like my favorite artists are like Jim Lee, Jason Fabok, Ivan Rice, and Dan Mora. Those are like my top 4.
Which is interesting because Fabok and Rice have such similar styles, and then Dan Mora has this very different style.
Yeah,
I remember when Fabok was on Justice League.
Yeah,
and he did that really good. So that's kind of like why I picked him for Avengers.
Yeah. As far as writers go, I mean, I'd love to see Donny Cates or Daniel Warren Johnson as well. Another name that is kind of dipping his toes over there is Joshua Williamson. I would love to see him write it as well.
Would be cool.
Yeah. I don't know who else though besides those 3 because that's hard. Donny Cates was another one I was thinking of as well. So
Donnie's the one where I'm like, that can happen. That's the reason being. It's he's been off the market for a while. He's worked for Marvel. Like, I feel like that could actually happen.
Joshua Williamson's not happening right now.
Sure.
Someone mentioned Chip Zdarsky. That could happen. I just don't know. I don't know if I could see Chip writing the series though, because he kind of gets really in depth about things sometimes. Yeah, that's a good thing for Avengers.
He did write Avengers Twilight. He did do that.
And that was pretty solid.
Yeah, right. So, and he's writing Captain America right now. So, I mean, I could see that actually happen, but I just would want something else, like somebody else that hasn't done Marvel stuff in a while. Yeah. Like we had Donny Cates do Venom, but he hasn't done anything since. Daniel Warren Johnson hasn't done anything at Marvel except a couple of things, right? And so it's just like I want to see. That's what I think Marvel needs. It needs that kick in the ass, and I think these guys could really do that, and especially like with the title like Avengers. I think it really needs that next level writer.
Yeah. Another person I could see that's more of a mid-level writer that I would like to see become a even bigger writer is Stephanie Phillips. I've really enjoyed her writing. Yeah, I think she's been solid. But I also obviously there's the opportunity to have someone become a James Tynion or a Scott Snyder. I think if you could tell a really amazing story, that could be fun. But I also do agree, Marvel in particular kind of needs someone who's maybe higher profile to just get people to look. But I still do love when because Scott Snyder became Scott Snyder because he was a nobody who ended up writing Batman. Right. So I like that type of story too. Yeah.
Stephanie Phillips is an interesting choice too. I know, Mike, you're not the hugest Spider-Gwen fan.
But she's been handling it well.
But yeah, and I know you like other stuff she's written too, like Grimm and everything. So I think she's a fantastic writer. I think she could do something interesting and different with the Avengers if given the chance.
Kyle Higgins is another good one. He has done Marvel stuff. He's done the Ultra. What's the Japanese character? You know what I'm talking about?
Yes. It's slipped my mind.
It's a Sentai character. I can't remember its name. Someone in the comments will. He's
Voltron?
Done that.
No,
not Voltron. Well, he's done Power Rangers, but he did something with Marvel that was I could see his face. I can't remember the name.
I know who you're talking about.
Ultraman.
Ultraman.
Yeah.
Yes, that's what it was.
I've never
Avengers,
read it. So he did that. He's done a few Marvel things here and there. That was his big one because he was there at Marvel for a long time. Kyle Higgins be interesting.
On
Ryan Parrott?
With Ryan Parrott, yeah.
I mean, I would love that. It'd be the same level of Stephanie, though, because he's we know him because obviously we've been following him, but it would be an up and comer going into this.
He's done ensemble cast. He's done Power Rangers, obviously. He could.
I would love that. If I could pick anyone, it'd be Ryan.
You can say maybe Fleeks as well.
Oh, that would be
Fleeks.
Good too.
That'd be great.
Yeah.
Because I mean. He's been doing a couple things, right? So You know, he's obviously doing the Omega Kids and then the thing. So that would be something interesting. I think the thing is it's kind of like, well, what is the commitment there? You know what I'm saying? Like, what's the story you want to tell? How many issues is it? You know, so you got to make it worthwhile. I think someone mentioned Rick Remender, but I don't think you're going to get that.
I don't see him being in the big two.
Yeah. Someone said Rick Remender's not going back to Marvel.
No.
Yeah.
I saw Tevye mentioned Jeremy Adams too, but again, just like Williamson,
he's exclusive.
And he's on all the DCKO stuff.
Yeah. At least Williamson's not. I don't think he's exclusive anymore, obviously, because he's at Marvel. Jeremy Adams literally very recently became exclusive. Yeah. But he would be cool. Someone, Tevye is mentioning that people are saying Bendis is a rumor. He's returning to Marvel Comics. I don't think it would end up being a great title, but I will say I think a lot of people will buy that first issue.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think it'll be a big news piece.
It's just, for me, it's been there, done that, you know, and he did a great job with it when he did it. But yeah, I want some.
But it's so many years of like like you said, what other stories does he have left to say with it?
Right.
He's already done it. All right, well, let's get into who we want on the team. I'll say mine, I really tried being leveled, but also a little wacky. For mine, I out of the Hulk characters, I wanted She-Hulk. I think she's more fun than Hulk usually on the team. I did pick Jessica Jones and Luke Cage out of inspiration from Bendis's run because I think they were really fun and added an interpersonal element to the Avengers. I have Captain Marvel because I think she's a cool leader. I'd rather have her than Iron Man. Punisher, I thought could be really cool because obviously he's an anti-hero a little bit more, and he's becoming more popular over the years with this comic and has a pretty steady comic right now. And then my two wackier ones is Jeff the Land Shark because you need a mascot and he's so popular. And then Ultimate Spider-Man because his series is ending, and I think it'd be kind of cool to see a different Spider-Man.
That's an interesting cast of characters for sure. Yeah.
How about you, Brett?
That would be fun. I tried to go a little bit classic, a little bit more modern, and then throw in just something for fun. So I've got Iron Man and Emma Frost because you know all that stuff. Yeah, and Emma's. I don't remember her ever being an Avenger, but I think that would be an interesting, especially with her connection with Iron Man. I think that'd be cool. Captain America Steve, because he hasn't been part of the team in quite some time now, so I'd like to see him back in the fold. So that's like my more classic. Black Cat, again, because she's got this kind of love-hate thing with Iron Man. Like they
and she's been in it, right? Yeah. She was in it too with the Jed MacKay run.
Right. So I'd like to see her back. Scarlet Witch, she's been building back up. And she hasn't been on the Avengers for a while, given everything that happened. Well, yeah, she has. She's on it now, isn't she? I forgot. For strength, I went Hyperion. Because I didn't want to do Hulk or Thor. I wanted to do something different, and I couldn't think of any other strong characters like that. And then, just for fun, I threw in Rocket Raccoon. Nice. He's got the weapons, and you know, he's comic relief, and all that stuff. So yeah,
we both have animals on our team.
Yeah.
And everybody else, if you guys want to put in what you would want for Avengers team while we're talking about this, go for it.
Let's just try being realistic. Because I saw Tevye say Mayday Parker. She's not ending up on the Avengers. Honestly, you have a better chance of, again, the ones that you see more, you know, like Ultimate Spider-Man. Like at least that's been in the consciousness. Not characters from 30 years ago.
All right. So here is mine. And it's funny because Brant and I were on the same wavelength with these two characters. Iron Man as my team leader and Emma Frost. Obviously, because of the relationship that they had in the comics, I think it would be good to continue that relationship within that team dynamic. So I thought that was kind of cool. Then I had the Thing in there as well, as he's kind of like the down to earth like character, right?
Yeah, I did consider him actually.
Right. Yeah. And then same as Kat, I also picked She-Hulk instead of regular Hulk because I think her and the Thing have a good relationship with each other since they were on the Fantastic Four. And the next one is Moon Knight, and actually Tigra. So I did a lot of relationships.
Yeah, I like that one. Yeah.
Tigra is in a relationship with Mark Spector at the moment.
Right.
And I think Tigra is a great character in the Moon Knight comic book. So I really like that. And then the one lone wolf here was you had to have your spider character. And I picked Spider-Woman Jessica Drew. I think she needs a place in the Marvel universe on a consistent basis. And I felt like in this team, I think she would go good here. And she's kind of like almost like your stealthy espionage type of character as well. So
yeah, and I considered her too. And it's interesting because both of you kind of went into Bendis's run with Jessica Drew and with.
Well, that was the last time Avengers was.
I know.
Good.
I know. I agree. So I was just trying to do something a little bit different, but I definitely considered a lot of the same options. So it's crazy.
Because honestly, oh god.
No, I was just saying we're thinking similarly, but yeah.
Well, because you want relationships that actually interact. I think that's been the biggest issue with Avengers. Like, here are all these people that I guess should be on a team, but there's no like interpersonal relationships. And I think that's what Bendis did really well, was like they felt like a team, they felt like a family. And that's something I really enjoyed about it,
That's what Jed MacKay's run is missing, I think. And that's what made classic Avengers so good too, because you had all those interpersonal relationships. And I really like your pick of Moon Knight and Tigra too, because like Tigra has a kid, so that could play into it as well. You can explore a lot of different things with all those relationships. Again, why I chose Iron Man and Emma. And Black Cat is always in some kind of romance, so that would play into there as well. I could see her flirting with Cap and different things like that. So yeah, I love that. Yeah.
That's why I also picked Punisher, because I think at least there's a conversation there. Like, you have people that are more like go-to heroes and just like, you can't hurt anyone. And I think Punisher is more like, well, you got to do what you got to do. So to have him as an Avenger, I think that's interesting. Like, have things that are themes that are different. Like we were just saying with Tiger and Moon Knight, we haven't seen that, but that's something that's been building in the background. Black Cat's been building in the background. Iron Man and Emma Frost has been building in the background. Just have things that make sense, like build into something. And we'll talk about that with some of the tie-ins that came out in a good way with DCKO, where it's like, oh, this has all been building, so it feels nice. And then we'll talk about X-Men, Revelations, where it doesn't feel that way at all. And it's just like, just tell us a story. Tell us something that is meaningful. And it's funny because I was on another podcast and I was talking about the Doctor Doom event, and you could read Fantastic Four this week. It has nothing to do with it. No. And that's your main series that would have to do with an event.
And it's weird because it's been on and off with it. Like there's some random issue where Fantastic Four connects to it. And then there's another one where it doesn't,
Yeah, it's weird.
So, but yeah, no, I mean, I would agree. I was like, I think in a new Avengers team, you need to have the team relevant to what's going on into the comics and have these characters have a relationship with each other. And they all somewhat do have a relationship with one another. So that's kind of reason why I also went that route, and you brought up the point with Tigra having a kid and Jessica with her situation, with her kid being aged up. It's kind of like she's still probably dealing with that, those ramifications there with her kid, so
Lucas Mayer too, still like you still have that to deal with. There's definitely things you can do. And I just really hope we see that. But I also tired of giving hope because then you're always let down. It's just like, sometimes you like to be neutral going into something. You're like, oh, that worked out. But the last team book that I've been into, the last Avengers book I've read and I really liked was Bendis, and that was over a decade ago. I don't remember what was before Jed MacKay's Avenger. I don't know who. I think it was Jason Aaron. I think
I think it was Jason Aaron. I think it was.
And I don't remember anything about that run.
You were talking about how you liked She-Hulk better than Hulk. Well, it doesn't even make sense to put Hulk in the Avengers book anyway, because he's not even in the same. He's not the same Hulk. And I do like how we're thinking of different characters, because how many times have you seen the same Iron Man, Captain America, Black Widow, Black Panther? Like, you see the same ones over and over again. And they've made it clear anybody can be a freaking Avenger. So you might as well, create your own team at that point.
Right.
Yeah, I agree. It's we'll see what happens. I think we'll probably get the announcement in like a month or so.
Yeah. So here we go. We got Iron Man, Hawkeye, Black Widow, She-Hulk, Miles, and Moon Knight. So there's that one.
I think like that's half and half though, because you have the usual suspects, which is Iron Man, Hawkeye, Black Widow, and then you have the other three where it's like She-Hulk is not always in the Avengers, Miles definitely isn't, and then Moon Knight definitely isn't.
Right.
Along those lines, I wouldn't mind seeing like right now Miles is kind of Misty Knight's intern, so I wouldn't mind like seeing the Daughters of the Dragon and Miles together in the Avengers. That would be a cool dynamic.
Yeah. I agree. I think there's some cool stuff you could do, and I just hope we get a really cool book coming out with the Avengers. So again, the one I hope I have right now for Marvel is Iron Man. That's the only thing where I'm like, I'm actually like really looking forward to that series.
Right.
I'm so curious who they're gonna put though, man. I wonder if they're gonna go traditional route or are they gonna just go completely left field with it.
I think they're gonna do it traditional, and I hate to say that, but I just think that's easier for them. I really, unless it's a Donny Cates, I think unless you have someone wacky or big enough to have an interesting roster, I think it's gonna be the same old, sadly.
Yeah.
I didn't know this. Ziggler's run on Miles ends at 42.
I didn't know that either.
Well, so he could be doing something new.
I could see Ziggler as well. Obviously, he's not an up-and-coming writer, but he's an up-and-coming comic writer.
I don't know if I want it, though. I don't know if I
think it would be very same old if we get Ziggler, too.
I mean,
it'd be a similar vibe,
more of a single character writer, in my opinion.
Well, we haven't really seen him write teams, though.
Like maybe there's a reason.
Yeah, I don't know. So he's handling a pretty decent size supporting cast in Miles, though. But I agree with you. I don't really want that vibe for Avengers. I think he's a great writer. I love his writing.
I think he's written. I mean, I know I've fallen off the book of Miles, but when it comes to the parts that I did read, up until we got to that Hercules and Thor or whatever that storyline was, like it was some of the best Miles comics that I read in quite some time.
Yeah, like I haven't loved his entire run, but especially the first 2 or 3 arcs were really good. Like I didn't love the Anansi, the Spider God stuff. That just wasn't my favorite. Parts of it.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah. And that's still like Anansi still pops up from time to time. He popped up a couple issues ago, I think. So I don't love all of his stuff, but what I have read that I've enjoyed, I've really loved it. Like I think it is some of the best Miles stuff. I think it's some of the best Deadpool stuff, that he's written. So I definitely have, respect for his skills. I just don't know if I want to see his style on Avengers. But again, I haven't seen him write teams, so I don't know.
Right. Well, here's Tevius because he did an updated one.
Yeah.
He goes, here's my new roster: Miles Morales, Spider-Man, Miles Morales, Spider.
So I think Miles Morales, he's saying that's
Miles Morales, Spider-Man.
Okay. Hulk, Scarlet Witch, Captain Falcon, Sam Wilson. X-23, Ghost Rider, which is Robbie Reyes, and then Dylan Brock as Venom. I like when Dylan was I liked when Venom was actually Agent Venom as a vendor.
Agent Venom was fun. I think with this roster, there's a lot of classics, but I don't know. I feel like there would be a lot of different, like too many voices because you'd be like, oh, Dylan and Robbie are hanging out. Maybe X-23 is part of like going with Sam, but I can't see all of them talk to each other.
Here's one more that I could have missed. Spider-Man, Daredevil, Lady Thor,
which I guess is
She-Hulk, Storm, and Forge. That's an interesting lineup there.
Yeah, that's a lot of different personalities too.
I actually thought about putting Jane in there, but
Jane would be really cool, especially because I don't think
we haven't seen her.
Yeah, we haven't really seen her recently, so that would be cool. That, honestly, like Jane and Betty, that'd be freaking crazy. I'm gonna love that.
Yeah.
Betty being Hulk Betty.
Come on, man! I want my Avengers team to be all Spider-Man. Miles Morales, Spider-Man, Peter Parker, Spider-Man, Peter Porker, Spider-Man. I want Spider-Gwen, and then that's it.
So you just want Avengers into the Spider-Verse, is what you?
Yeah, it's Spider-Verse Avengers.
I'd take that. I don't know if I'd call them Avengers, but I would take it if it was a strong series. It's just, what do they call it? The Web Warriors? It'd be the
Web Warriors. Yeah. I would just do that.
Marvel should embrace the Spider family. They should definitely do more stuff. I like that Silk is in the current Spider-Gwen series. So like if you miss Cindy, she's a main character in that. True. So that's pretty cool. That is our Avengers talk. Before we get into comics, I do have a Kickstarter, so I'll mention about that. So I mentioned already, the comic shop funded, and now we have witching season. So if you are looking for some heavy hitters, and I hear, there we go. If you're looking for some heavy hitters, we have a Sweeney Boo cover. Jess Fong does those Poison Ivy covers. We got Skylar Patridge, who is on Action Comics currently. And we have Alex Segura, who currently writes Star Wars. Heather Antos, who's the editor at IDW. Stephanie Williams, that is writing some Wonder Woman coming up, the flagship. So a lot of heavy hitters here. So if you like witches and horror, I recommend the series. I'm going to copy and paste there. And then we are going to go into this week's comics. I think this was a pretty large week. I don't remember, but I feel like there was a lot of... I read 15.
Decent week.
I read 15.
I read 25, I think. Yeah.
Tomorrow there's a lot of smaller books. Like I think I still have an okay sized haul, but there's not a lot of like huge books because DC is releasing like nothing tomorrow.
Yeah.
Just the Absolute Batman.
Here's a new one. The new Spider Boy, Spider Girl, and Rec Rap. We can add those guys to it. Rec Rap, man. Let's add them to it.
I will. I don't think I could read that.
You pass that in. Oh my gosh. Yeah, but it is a smaller week tomorrow. I think I'm scrounging somehow getting 15 or 16 books tomorrow. If my shop,
I think I have an okay list. Books. They're just not big.
No, it's not, because it's like annuals and stuff like that. It's kind of weird.
I got 12. I'm getting 12 tomorrow, it looks like.
Yeah, it's that Batman book though. People are looking forward to because Daniel Warren Johnson's story. So I think that's
I think I'm on like 18, something like that.
There you go. Brant,
I'm right around with you too, Brant.
Well, there's the new Supernatural. There's
are you picking that up?
Yeah.
Are you?
That's one of my favorite.
Are you big? Yeah, you're a big fan of that.
I love that show. It's one of my favorite.
I never watched a single.
Oh my god, I've watched it multiple times.
Oh my gosh. So
I never seen Supernatural.
Excited for that one then.
Yeah.
Who's writing it?
Greg Pak, actually, I think.
Oh, that's gonna be great for you. That's gonna be a good series.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
And it takes place between like seasons 2 and 3, so it's
weird.
That's weird.
Yeah,
it is a long time ago.
But
I'm trying to see if he had any involvement, because I know he worked for TV for a little while, right? Or did he just do comics? Let's see. He did some movies, but I don't. It seems like he mostly just does comic books. But I was like, I thought he did something with Supernatural, but I guess he's just writing the comic.
Brant, do you even remember what happened between seasons 2 or 3 at that point?
I'd have to refresh my memory. If I knew the exact story arc that was going on in season 2, I'd probably remember.
But is that a tough sell then? If like you're doing season 2 to 3, and like, will everyone remember that?
I don't think you need a whole lot of knowledge, because I mean it's basically they're always hunting some kind of demon or monster or something. So if it's a good story, it's gonna be a good story. I don't think.
And they have such hardcore fans. I think that book's gonna last forever.
So they'll probably give you like a recap of what's going on at that point in time. Maybe it'll tell you, it takes place between here and here, and
it's like multiple actors from that have popped up in The Boys, and it's like the Supernatural reunion in The Boys, and everybody went crazy for that. Started talking about Supernatural revival and all this kind of stuff. There's rumors of it coming back in some shape or form. So yeah, it's huge in that cult fan base. Yeah,
that's cool. That's awesome. All right, so let's get into this week's comic books, and let's talk about some Skinbreaker number 2, since Brant and I were the ones that read it. Kat didn't even give it a second chance. She was like, nope. She's like, it's not for me.
That's not surprising.
I
there
don't
wasn't
care
anything
about
there that I liked personally.
People, you know, listen, when it came for me to read this book, I honestly thought it was going to go a certain way. And then when you get done with it, you're like, oh my God, we're kind of circling all over again.
Yeah.
You know, I mean,
in a good or bad way.
It was weird.
Okay.
Different though.
Yeah,
it's
different,
like
sure.
You thought that this book was going to go one way, right? So you think that the guy, the person, the bad guy was going to challenge the old man. That doesn't happen. The good guy like winds up challenging him, and they go into this fight, right? And you're like, okay, well, the good guy beats the chief, and he becomes the ruler, right?
Yeah.
Right. Eventually. And then, there's a lot of emotion in there and whatnot. And then what happens is you fast forward all the way to the point where the young guy is now old. He's almost as old as the original chief.
It was literally a page turn. It was like he beat the chief, he became the chieftain, and then they did the thing where they, like in TV shows, where they'll fade into like a future version of him, same pose. So it's like flip the page and he's old. And it's like, what?
Yeah. I had to flip it a couple times. I'm like, at first I was like, did the old man live? And then I realized, I'm like, wait, he's got that scar in his face from when he sliced them in the face. And I'm like, oh shit. I'm like, that's crazy. And so now he's being challenged from, it's the same way. It's basically
it's a very similar character,
right. And now he's the old man being challenged. So it was interesting. I'm kind of like, okay, well, now where are we going to go with it?
Is it a mini series or an ongoing?
Yeah,
it is a limited series.
Oh, it's 8 issues, it looks like.
Yeah.
Okay,
that makes more sense. Because I thought it was an ongoing too. So I was confused.
Oh no, I knew it was a mini.
Okay. Yeah, but I also know that they've been working on this for years, and I agree with that comment. The art is just I would get it just for the art, because I think I mentioned this last time we talked about it. If I did, forgive me for repeating myself, but I read that he worked on the art double size, so like he used 2 art boards and taped them together for every single page, and for every double spread it's 4 art boards.
That's
so
crazy.
It's like huge and super detailed.
Jeez.
Yeah,
that's insane. So overall, I mean, I liked it. I thought it was good because it just kind of got me to the point going, oh crap, where are we gonna go with this now? Like, it did leave me intrigued. So
it definitely left me intrigued. It's a Kirkman story though, so it's slow building.
Right.
With it only being 8 issues, that's I want a little bit more. So I'm hoping next issue we really get into the meat of whatever this is going to be, especially after that twist. But yeah, I could totally understand it not being your thing, Kat. It's all the elements. It's like
very high fantasy. The only thing I did like was the art, and I'm like, I'm good. I'll read a different David Finch book.
Yeah. So, but I liked it. I like it for what it is. I want a little bit more out of it. Is all.
I can see,
and that is Kirkman though. Sometimes he doesn't. He doesn't deliver with that, and that's why I get a little nervous about that. Because like Firepower, what was the other? He had a recent book, Firepower, Outcast. All those books had really interesting premises, and then you're like, well, it will make up for it in the end, and then it doesn't really.
Was it Die? Did he do that one? Die.
No, that was Kieran Gillen. That was Kieran Gillen. Yeah.
But. So when he did Battle Beast or whatever it is, and look at the end of that, right? That's 6 issues, and you look at how he left that. So
that's still an ongoing, because that's still going to continue, right?
It still is, but still, I mean, it was still a good cliffhanger to end off on. You know what I'm saying? And so hopefully here, when this is 8 issues, he can deliver the ending at this story too.
I hope so. I think most of the other ones, I agree, they were both about 30 issues. So maybe it was just the long
Oblivion
Song.
Song. Is that what you're thinking of?
Oh, Oblivion Song.
Oblivion Song was another one he wrote. And again, this is not like I still like Firepower. I would still recommend it for the most part.
There was a lot of great issues of Firepower.
Yeah, it's just
there was
the ending.
And
that's for concepts I do like.
If I had to sit there and talk about Firepower and say the issue with that is, I think at that time, towards the end of the series, he had a lot on his plate. And I think this was him trying to acquire Energon Universe, trying to deliver. And I think his attention was elsewhere at that point. And it just got to the point where he's like, okay, we're done with Firepower.
Yeah, I mean, you had all the Walking Dead stuff. You had the Invincible thing. You had, like you said, the Energon Universe, all that stuff. There was a lot going on at that time. So I could see that. But I'm sad that it didn't have a better ending to it, too, because it was such a really good
was a great book.
Yeah.
There was times where there was no dialogue hardly at all in the issues. And you're just like, what is going on with this?
So those later ones.
Yeah, it felt something was off in it. Okay, let's go forward here. Let's talk about Radioactive Spider-Man. Yeah, that's right. I didn't like the book. I don't know how you guys felt about it.
It didn't make my top 5, but I've read a lot of these Revelation books, and I'm like, well, at least there's a story. At least it's a little different. I don't like the girlfriend, and I always hate saying that because I just hate all of Peter's girlfriends, I guess. But I had to look her up, and I was like, oh, yeah, I guess she is someone who's in the background. Yeah, she's a mutant. She's the one who's like in the background of most X-Men books, but doesn't really have that much of a story. And I was like, why is she here? And then why should I care about the Aunt May ending? But I liked utilizing this world for him. I thought the artwork was pretty solid. But that's also me comparing it to what we've been getting from Spider-Man, comparing to what we've been getting with Revelations. Not, this is a great book, right?
The reason she's there is because he had to have some connection to the mutants. That's her whole purpose in being there. No,
but why her? It could have been like a better known mutant.
Maybe. Yeah, I agree. I didn't hate it. Like you said, there was still story. It still felt like Peter. It still felt there was an emotional thing where he was, sacrificing to a degree. So I could appreciate elements of it. At the same time, it just felt like we've got to throw Spider-Man into this because he's Spider-Man. So let's make it weird. And that's what
it shouldn't have been Joe Kelly. I really think someone else should have written it. Just because
I don't even think you needed it.
Oh, I mean, you don't need any of this event.
That's true.
Yeah. I mean, it's just like it's a mutant comic event. Why do you need Spider-Man in it? There's no
Spider-Man,
and I get it. You're trying to sell this comic
from a story perspective. You don't. You're right. Yeah,
right. You don't need it. And for me, obviously, I wanted to check it out because I wanted to see what was going on with him 10 years in the future, and logically, it makes sense. Like he is dying and he's just holding off the infection. So it makes sense, right? But I'm like, why does he have to have a girlfriend? Why does he have to have a girlfriend, but he can't have Mary Jane as his girlfriend?
That's the convolutedness of Marvel in general.
Right.
I understand if you want to make him single, whatever, because you feel like he can't be in a relationship. But why not just Mary Jane?
This was 10 years in the future. It could have been Mary Jane easily. I agree.
Yeah. There's no reason why it couldn't be. She could have taken care of him. Like what happened? She died, I guess.
Yeah. They don't want to give hope that they could get back together in the future. That's what it is.
And go ahead, Brent.
I was just gonna say the Aunt May thing could have been Mary Jane.
Well, yeah, that's what I was about to say. I was like, and the Aunt May thing, I'm like, okay, so now Aunt May is a killer, and I'm like, and why can't we just kill off freaking Aunt May, even in a mini series? Like, why are they determined to just keep her alive? Like, so that drove me crazy too. And I'm just like, however, I am going to read issue 2 because I want to see what happens next.
Also, Mike, I know you've been reading the Revelations books. Like, do you think
some of them,
like some of them, not all of them, which I think that's why you're in the position you are. But like, there's a lot worse out there than this one. Like, I just feel like there at least was a story. There other ones there, like that other one we were talking about. I think it was the one with Black Cat. I forget what it's even called. Is the X-Force the one with Havoc?
Oh, that was the Sinister.
Sinister one.
Sinister.
I thought that was a good example of nothing happening. Like there's there's maybe something that could happen, but it's just like, oh, there's a fight. There's just like so many of those series. And again, also Spider-Man hasn't been great. So I was like, oh, at least this is like a new setting for him. I don't know. I just, again, obviously didn't make my top 5, but I was also like, could be worse.
Yeah, for sure.
There's a question here. It says, in 10 years into the future, how old is Aunt May at this point?
She looks very young. She no wrinkles.
Yeah. Aunt May's immortal. I mean,
she's
gotta be.
She can't die. I don't know. It turned her obviously into a mutant, right? Because they say this thing either turns you into a mutant and it kills you. Oh, how fortunate for Aunt May. She's a mutant now. I guess Mary Jane is dead because that's what we're going to go for.
It must be, yeah.
Right? So I don't know. But let's move on. Let's talk about which I thought was a good comic book, Superman issue 31. And I thought this tied into DCKO very well. It even gave Titans a little bit more depth. You know what I'm saying? When you after you read that, but I like how this book goes full circle because now Clark has to figure out kind of what his father was trying to figure out when he was evacuating Krypton, or he was thinking about evacuating Krypton. Now he has that same responsibility here, thinking like, what happens if planet Earth is going to die? Now it's my responsibility, just like how it was my dad's, to help try to save this species. So out of anything that went on in that comic book, emotionally, like I really love that aspect of the book. And then of course it throws you for a loop at the end there with Lois, and I'm like, there you go. There's that secret player that you weren't expecting to be in this title, right? So I was excited about that.
I agree. It added a lot of emotion, and I think something that's been great about these tie-ins is like, do you need to read these tie-ins? No, because I think they're going to explain everything in KO if you just want to read KO, but it adds layers to the universe, and it feels like the whole universe is being affected, which is what an event should be, without it feeling like it's interfering, especially with Superman, because obviously Superman's been building to this event. It actually adds layers to what's been going on with Lois, which is something we've been curious about. I really like this issue a lot too. I think this is the way to do a tie-in, and I can't applaud DC and DCKO in particular enough to be like, wow, this feels like Blackest Night, man. This feels like an event done right.
Absolutely.
I'm so glad you said that, because I was literally about to say the same thing. It's like when I think about good tie-ins and when tie-ins really serve a story well, I always think about Blackest Night in the way that they did them. It was very similar to this, where, like you said, it builds on that individual title, that character's part in the story, expands it a little bit, gives you a little bit more information, but it's, you're still not required to read it. So I love when tie-ins are done that way, and I think this was a perfect example of that. And like just the emotion of him, like again, going to his father, not getting the answers at first that he needs, then Lois kind of cracking the code, and what happens with her, and Superboy Prime's little moment in it as well. So it just all came together really beautifully. It's just another good issue of Superman.
Absolutely. And you talk about those tie-ins, and that's what we hope for when it comes to the tie-ins, is to give you an overall better reading experience when it comes to the event. It should add to the event. And that's what you want. So very good. I love this book. And so far, for me, at least, I think it's off to a great start. All right. So with that being said, let's go into our number 5 book of the week. And Brant, what do you got?
So y'all are gonna laugh, but my number 5
Radioactive
is actually
Spider-Man.
No. It is a tie-in though, and it is X-Men Age of Revelation.
Whoa, I'm ready.
It's Omega Kids, issue number 1. And
cool.
Yeah, I'll tell you why. It's all about the ending. It's all about, because I didn't see the twist coming, and I appreciate a good twist. Obviously, it's Tony Fleecs writing it as well, so I was already like anticipating something cool happening. But up until that point, it was like, okay, where are we going with this? I thought the kids were interesting because they all have different personalities, but especially the youngest one being the twisted one, being the evil one, I think is just a clever, you know, little twist there in its own. But when you get to the end and you realize that they're manipulating the whole situation and that Omega Kid is like, you know, in his head and like pouring milk on the or coffee on the floor or whatever it was. I I just thought that was really good. That was clever. That was fun. It was, you know, decent art. So yeah, even though it means nothing, I really appreciate this story. So,
I think the writing was well done here. I even said this in
yeah.
my review. I like the writing, but I think it really depends on if you like Quentin Quire because it's very much about
I
him.
do like Quentin, but yeah.
And I don't love Quentin Quire. So I just like, and it's funny because Tony Fleeks actually like one of my videos, like, I get you. I understand where you're coming from.
Nice.
And I'm glad he said that because it's just like, it is well written. It is actually one of the better series, but I really think it has to do how much you like Quentin Quire. And I just don't like him. I don't love his attitude. And I'm like, I don't know if I want to follow a Quentin Quire book.
Gotcha. Yeah. Did you read this?
Yeah. Yeah, I did read it. I just wanted to say people are saying hi, just getting on this show, guys. So thank you so much for watching and tuning in. Hopefully you're enjoying the overall show. And at any point, if you want to give this live stream a thumbs up, go ahead and do it. Definitely helps get the word out there that this show does exist. And anytime you have a question, we'll do our very best to answer it for you. Okay. So when it came to this, I did read this. I thought it was a decent story as well. I'm kind of on the fence if I'm still going to continue it though, but I do like the actual ending. The ending was cool because I didn't see it either. I did not see this kid like controlling Quentin and whatnot. So I thought that was kind of cool. Gives it more of that darker element. And I guess what I can appreciate is there is some kind of story going on within this Age of Revelation event going on with Quentin. So he thinks he's got everything under control and he definitely does not. No. So that was cool. And it was coffee on that he was spilling on the floor. So I might give it, I think it's going to depend on the comic book week if I check out issue 2 or not.
Okay.
All right. Next, let's see. Was it Pat? You're number 5.
Mine is Thanksgiving, actually, the one that Brant recommended last week. I tend to like Mark Russell's writing a lot, so I was like, all right, let me give it a shot. And it's a cool slasher type story. If you're looking for that, I think it's a better version of the movie Thanksgiving, which I didn't really love. I know, Mike, you like the movie Thanksgiving, I think a little bit more. But I didn't love that one. But this one, it's about this girl who goes over to her family for Thanksgiving, and she's like, oh, it's so weird to like love these people, but they're also like not great people. They're a little racist or they're a little this. And then you find out that the uncle that she loves, who's like a TV personality, is a serial killer. And it's just a fun way to talk about like family dynamics. And it was like a fun like murder mystery. And it's just one shot, so you could just get this issue and that's it. And I thought it was cool.
Nice. Cool. I forgot to get this and Murder Podcast, so I was gonna try to go back and get both of those, and I just didn't get a chance to circle back around.
I don't even think my shop had this in stock.
I think mine did, and I just missed it. Yeah, because I went back and watched a video of like their new releases, and I was like, oh, there it is. So, of course, of course. But I'm glad you enjoyed it, Kat.
Yeah.
I don't think you have to pick it up, but if you were looking for a fun little thing, it was cool.
It's like his stuff. I either really like it or it's not for me at all. And it's never bad though.
I think you would have been in the middle for this one because I know this is not like the horror type of stories you would like, but I think you would appreciate the commentary. It wasn't like over the top commentary. Like it was pretty straightforward to what they were trying to say.
Right. Gotcha.
We have a question. Says anyone here read Spider-Man 94? I've got the first and second issues. I have issue 3 in November. I think, Kat, you're not reading it, right? Mm-hmm. No. And then Brant and I are reading it.
Yeah.
There's a lot of Spider-Man books, and unless I hear it's amazing, I'm just like, oh, I don't need the sign of the show where the creator is like, I'm not a part of this.
It's not my favorite book. only because it's got probably my least favorite characters in there.
Yeah.
Like, it's got Moreland in there, and it's dealing with a clone. It's not bad per se, but it is just the art's a little bit off from the animated series, and I would say, the story is not the best, but I actually liked issue 2 better than issue 1, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, but it's the same. It's like I hate Moreland, so
Yeah.
it's like it's not my favorite story arc, but yeah, it's not bad either.
All right, and then my number 5 was Predator Kills the Marvel Universe. That book for me is just fun, and I love seeing Kraven the Hunter just being in his element, teaming up with the Predators in here, and then continuing to get the upper hand against the Marvel characters, including the Hulk, which Kraven was I guess he was most worried about, and then he handled him like it was nothing.
Yeah.
Then you get the X Mansion that was invaded as well, and you get freaking Charles Xavier like burning on his wheelchair coming out of the X Mansion. It was just super dark, and then you got Nightcrawler and Wolverine like teaming up with each other at the end, and it made for a good ending because it showcased Sue Storm as she's like pissed off, obviously, what happened to Reed, and it looks like she might be the one to save the day. So I'm looking forward to the next issue here.
I think if you're looking for a blockbuster book, that's this. Like, if you're looking
sure.
for fun action, and it's in the middle of my pack because of that, but I also have fun reading it. Like, it's good art. Like you said, the Sue Storm thing was a fun ending. I think if you have room for it on your pull list, you should have it. But if you're trying to pick and choose, I don't know if this is the one. Like also the Spider-Man one, I'm like, no, you need this because we're not getting that from Spider-Man, and it had a little bit more story. But it's still fun. I'm having a good time with it.
Yeah, I'm kind of in the middle. It's like the first two. I like the first 2 issues better than this issue, and this one was more like that. It was very action heavy. I like the visuals, like you described, Mike, like Professor X, out of the mansion on fire and everything. I love the visuals. I loved the expression on Wolverine's face, depicting what they were telling us in the narration about, the loss that he was feeling and everything. But I felt like it happened so fast. Like you said, they dispelled the Hulk just like that. After all that build up in the narration, like, we were worrying about him, just like boom, boom. So it felt, I don't want to say rushed because I think I overuse that term a little bit, but there was just something a little bit too easy and too quick about this particular issue for me, but I still enjoy it. I like the series overall. I think it's a fun read. So
I think part of the issue there is like it is a mini series. So it's like, and they're trying to tackle so many characters.
True.
So it's like it seems like they don't have the time to really develop a character in a book. So they got to almost, kill them off quickly and move on to the next thing.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's still a fun book. And especially if you're a Predator fan, you should definitely pick this up.
I don't even like Predator that much, but I still
I don't either.
Book,
so,
I'm still having it because you don't really need to. It doesn't bog you down with like mythos. It's just like, oh, they're trying to kill the Marvel universe. That's kind of it.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so let's move along here and let's talk about Ultimate Spider-Man issue 22. I thought
How
this
many issues are left. There's only like
more. 24.
That's it. That's crazy.
So I thought this issue was an improvement because we finally got characters in this book. Finally got Spider-Man. You finally got Mary Jane. You got Dr. Octopus, who surprisingly is like Superior Spider-Man in his series again.
I like that.
Yeah, you got Harry Osborn, who is obviously being manipulated by his dad. And what was the ending though? I was confused.
It was like a ghost Mysterio. I don't know if it's
a
Gwen,
ghost or is it actually her?
I don't know. That's where we're left to guess. I think
I'll say it looks like a man, but that doesn't mean it is.
It does, but it could also be voices in his head and he's seeing things because he's Harry Osborn. You just don't know, or it could be Gwen, or it could be all the Mysterios got kind of phased or fused together. Yeah. So that's kind of what I was thinking, but
I think what's difficult about this issue, I think if this was issue 10, I'm in like, great, top 5. Had a good time. There's some interesting character beats. There's only 2 issues left. I feel like there's so much up in the air. You have like the Black Cat situation in particular here that is not resolved. You do have that cliffhanger ending, but the rest of it is like feeling like it's building towards something. And it's just like, well, what is it building to at this point? We're like only got 2 issues left. And I'm getting more frustrated with it, honestly. Because at least last issue, I don't know. I just felt the cliffhanger was going to go somewhere a little bit more because I was like, okay, Gwen might be dead now. The next issue is going to like really explain that. And then this issue doesn't really do that. And the next cliffhanger has to do with the Mysterio cliffhanger. And it's getting a little frustrating because we're getting so close to the end.
I did like the great Peter and MJ moment in there. I love how she finally got to spend time with them. They focused on their relationship a little bit. I thought that was awesome. And this book had good humor in there too with the soy sauce situation. Yeah. It's like, oh, you always forget the soy sauce. Did you put the soy sauce in the bag? And they're like, yeah, we put the soy sauce in there. And then everyone's asking about the soy sauce. It was just like this running joke.
Then J. Jonah Jameson's like, I got soy sauce in case they forgot it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Little touches like that throughout the book were what made it so good for me. And just like that, like Otto being like, don't touch me. You know, it's just little things like that all through that first half of the issues.
And I felt like that's what this book, besides obviously the story progression and ending, you know, that's what this book has been missing in the past couple issues, you know? Yeah. And I felt like it kind of got back to that. So I was definitely happy with that there. But 2 more issues, like Kat said, it's kind of like, how are they going to end this in 2 more issues?
And it's hard to put it in the top 5 with that. It was close. I think it was like my number 7 or something like that. But it's very hard because it's getting a little frustrating because it's such a good series and you're just like, oh, you're gonna end it like this. And the sucky part is, you know, there's not anything really after this, or at least there shouldn't be. I mean, if there is, it's gonna be very different. And it's just like, oh, and if the Amazing Spider-Man was better, it'd be like, oh, at least I have the Amazing Spider-Man. It sucks to see your favorite series at Marvel that you consistently really like to read end again, because like Runaways is ending, and then you'll keep having these books that you really like end, and you're like, oh, that really sucks. What do I have left to read?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. All right, so let's go on to Brant and I's book that we read here. This is Exquisite Corpses issue 6, and unfortunately, Brant, my guy,
I've been seeing the comments for you, Mike, that people have been feeling bad for you.
Eliminated. Gamer Kid is out. He wasn't even he didn't even get a fair fight. He wasn't even expected to like get eliminated. He got attacked from behind, smashed on the ground, and then he's dead. But
I mean, he got quite a bit of action before that, though.
Yes, but at least his issue was highlighted with him. In it, and I really loved his character. I love this kid. He's just such kid. He's so mean. He's such a badass. He's going trick-or-treating with this little kid, and he's like, man, you never seen this slasher movie? You never seen this horror movie? He's like, what the F is wrong with you? You know, and he was calling him all these bad names, and the friend of the kid is just like, hey, listen, if you don't start acting, you know, better, we're just going to leave you behind. It's like, shut up, you loser. And he takes his little drone and he like shoots him in the back and everything. And he's like killing people. And it was so good, man. I absolutely love this character. I was happy that I decided to pick him to win the tournament, but it was unfortunate that he ended. I really like this issue.
He had
really great character.
Yeah, he had the other little kid thinking it was a video game or something. Yeah, like what is this? And he's just like really killing people with his drone just left and right. And it's like
the corn maze.
Yeah, in the maze, and you're hearing like little, you know, romantic conversations between people right before they get killed and different things like that. So it was crazy the way that all went down. And then who killed him was like crazy too. It's like, of course, it's going to be that character. It's like, okay,
right. And at the end though, you got to see the unstable or how mentally ill this kid was though, Gamer Kid, because he's like, you know, I thought you were different. I thought you were going to be my friend, but you're just like all the rest, you know, making fun of me and this and that. And it's just, and then you know that this kid was unhinged, you know, and so and you don't get to learn that history really of that kid because obviously he gets murdered. So it was like, man, I would have really love to dive more into like what happened with this character.
I would love to see like some spin-off, like one shots or something, exploring some of these
I agree.
killers. That would be really interesting. But yeah, like there was one line where he was like, I had no friends until I met. He named the drone, whatever he named the drone. I don't remember its name, but he was like, until I met, the drone, and
Yeah.
now you've killed it too, and yada yada. So
Yeah.
it was good. It was a good issue.
Absolutely. One of the stronger issues of the series for me.
Yeah.
All right. So let's move on now to number 4. Kat, what was yours?
Mine was, I believe it was Green Lantern. Let me look. Yeah, it was Green Lantern issue 28. I like where the story's going with this whole Hal's name being in this book. I thought it was going to be more of a Carol and Hal issue, but I liked how Carol was concerned with Hal in the end. It's like, oh, what's going on here? But I like that we end one arc and we're already getting into a new one to have something interesting. And yeah, I like it a lot. It was a good issue.
I like the Hal Jordan in the book thing, the mystery and whatever it infected him with and all this stuff. I like that element of it. I didn't love the art in this issue for some reason. It was just
the art is not as strong.
That book tends to have that artist like as their backup artist.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I didn't love the art as much, but the story was decent. I think I wanted a little bit more out of it, but it's just the first issue of the art. So
they should have probably promoted it differently, but
yeah, because I mean,
it dealt with Carol at the end, right? I mean, that's when she shows up.
The cover was them holding hands, though. It's like it was very pointed that this was going to be a Carol Hal story. But,
well, especially with DCKO and her involvement in it. Yeah. It was also interesting to hear, like, I guess his point of view. I don't know if it was this issue or not. I feel like it was his point of view about, oh yeah, Carol's might even become a better hero than me if she continues this journey. I thought that was interesting. But it's a cool, again, it reminds me a lot of Jeff Johns' run where it's just like you're always moving. But yeah, I mean, I agree. Yeah. The art could have been stronger, which is why it's not like my number 1 pick, but it was still solid. I wasn't expecting it to jump so quickly in a good way.
Yeah, right. It's one of those stories where it's like it's basically at this point just a mystery of what's going on with Hal. And and that's really it. That's kind of all I got. There were some cool moments in there with Kyle as well, with him and the White Lantern stuff. But yeah, I mean, we'll see what happens. I know it probably will turn out to be really good. It's just so up in the air as it's coming from one story arc to the next. And sometimes that's when you usually get your filler issue,
your
like
your
bridge
issues.
It's like it went right away from one to the next, and you're like, oh, okay, so we'll see what happens. Okay, so Brant, what was your number 4?
Mine was actually Ultimate Spider-Man for that first half of the issue. Just I love the family stuff and all that, and it was better, like you said, Mike, than the last couple of issues. And so even though I agree with everything you said, Kat. It's like that just still gave me, what I'd been missing in it. So,
and sometimes that's all you need,
Yeah.
Yep. And mine also was Ultimate Spider-Man, so that was my number 4 as well. So good stuff right there. That takes us over to the next DCKO tie-in, which is Justice League Unlimited issue 12. So I felt this one was a pretty good issue as well. What did you guys think?
I was surprised by it. I liked Batgirl and Adam's beginning. I think it was Adam and where they went and like what happens when the heroes are gone. I like the alternate universe versions of some of these characters, especially Aquaman and him seeing like what could have been. Yeah. I thought they did better than they had to do for a tie-in like this.
Yeah. It felt like just from the description and the characters involved, like it was going to be this throwaway story. But yeah, I think it was better than it, like you said, it deserved to be. And the characters that they introduced were interesting, at least, and the way that they kind of found out that they're remnants or whatever and stuff, I thought that was an interesting explanation and the way that came
very
together,
Legends of Tomorrow.
Yeah, they're like quantum images of a moment in time of who they were and seeing them. They're like, so if everything turns out okay, they'll go back, and then if not, then they cease to exist.
Yeah.
So that's kind of like how it works, and just seeing them that way, and like Kat said, like seeing their future selves or their past selves, or I thought added that, I don't know, realism for those characters. You know, that's what gave it the emotional impact.
And why these tie-ins have been stronger, because that's what you want in story. You want to relate. You want the human element, and especially when big events and big, changing world events happen. And I think it's been doing it right. And also to literally down to the T of like what happens when the heroes are gone. Like you even get that explanation.
Right. Yeah.
All right. So let's see. So now we move on to let's go to Murder Podcast issue 2. So Brant didn't get a chance to pick it up, unfortunately. And I picked it up. Kat picked it up. What did you think, Kat?
I thought this was weaker than last issue. I think last issue introduced the characters a little bit stronger, where I kind of felt like I knew what was going on with everybody. And this one, they had a lot of characters, and the Murder Podcast element didn't really happen in this issue. So I just felt like it almost felt fillerish, and we're only on issue 2. So it reminded me a lot of the Beauty, which I ended up dropping. And obviously it's the same writer, where it's like really interesting concept, but it's like, where's it going?
I kind of felt a little bit differently. Like they did have a murder at the beginning of the comic book.
They did. And I think maybe the end, but it was a similar murder to the first issue. It wasn't like the ramifications.
It was like a kid that was getting ready with his friends to go out a night out in the town. One of the kids was listening to the podcast, and then he killed all the kids in the bathroom. And then you wind up having the main one of the main characters deal with the aftermath of what happened at the end of the first issue. So you had that
detective character.
Yeah. So she was dealing with that. I agree. There's a lot of characters, so it makes it's hard to follow them all.
And it brings a slowness to it too, because like even with that mystery, it's like, well, I kind of saw that mystery already. The detective thing was probably the most interesting, because you're like, okay, we're gonna follow her, but it's like you don't really follow her the whole time. You have all these other characters,
and you do get a little bit though of the character that is dealing with this podcast, if that makes sense. Right? So you get to see that. And what did help me though at the end was you got that page with the characters on there at the very last page. I don't know if you saw that or not.
I don't know if I did either. I'm gonna look.
There's a character bio towards the end.
I have this.
Nope, keep going. Or right before that. Nope.
This.
Before it.
Have covers.
No, keep going.
Here it is. Okay.
There you go. So
yeah,
that
I don't know if I
help.
did read that. But I'll say there's characters I remember. Like I know that some of them have spouses. I remember the detective is with that girl. I remember like the heiress girl. Like there's like half the cast. I remember who they are.
Right.
Like, but why should I care?
But it does help because it kind of helps you connect the dots more to the story, so you don't completely get lost. I mean, that's just me anyway. So this wasn't.
I'm gonna get the next issue.
This wasn't in my top 5, and I'm going to continue to read this all the way through because I want to know what's going on with this story. I want to say that I did like the first issue more too, just because it's the first issue and the way they introduce it. You're just kind of like, oh damn, So, but we'll see how it turns out at the end.
Yeah.
It did look like a good quality comic book when you.
It feels nice. It's a good interiors,
nice.
Especially for up and coming indie publishers. Like I want to support it and see where it goes. So I hope people pick it up.
Yeah.
All right. So let's see. Let's go to I didn't read this. Ultimate Spider-Man Incursion issue 5.
All you get in this issue is that Miles Morales remembers now. He remembers about the Ultimate Universe, and that's kind of the story.
And the the reason you're supposed to read this one first is because of the what are they called, origin boxes or something like that
Mm-hmm.
that they had, and that those pop up in Miles as well.
And that didn't affect Ultimate Spider-Man, but I think the Ultimates it affected,
Right.
I guess.
Yeah, it affected the Ultimates because he tells Doom that the maker is Reed Richards, and that
Mm-hmm.
Doom didn't know that previously, so that was kind of a revelation for him, which fed into the Ultimates. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It was fine. I'll say they really needed to not promote it the way they did. I think the artwork is really what brings me out of it. I don't love the art style. And again, just what I told you, that's the story. There's not much else there.
Yeah, it was. I mean, it's 5 issues of him trying to get to Billy, and he makes friends with the Ultimate X-Men throughout the story, and that's pretty much it. Yeah.
So is he emotional?
I mean, got a sister, I would say.
Miles?
I don't
But
know.
no, is he emotional that he finds out that he's come from
It
this
was
other
so
place?
quick. It was
Mhm.
just like he
Like
touched
3 pages.
he touched the spider and all the memories hit him, and he's like, I remember everything. And then he has to leave like immediately. So he's just like spitting out this information to Doom really quickly. And then he goes straight back to his family. He's like, they're not going to believe she's gotten so big and all this stuff. So you didn't really have time to digest any kind of emotion from it.
Oh, interesting.
No.
Unfortunately, yeah.
I'm just
I mean,
curious
they
to
show
see.
it though. They show
Yeah.
like the mom. They're like, oh,
Yeah,
you're
yeah,
lost
yeah.
in this. Like they show it, but yeah, I don't.
was
I'm
just
just
so
curious
fast,
to
yeah.
see like how he deals with that though going
Right.
forward now that he has that weight of his world completely lost, you know?
I think that could play into Miles' future, but again, like if Cody's leaving at 42, I don't know what's going to happen with the series at all. So
Well, if they bring back the Ultimate Universe, maybe he goes back.
maybe, I don't know.
That would be crazy.
Yeah, that would
right.
be
Especially because Gwen is in the regular universe.
Yeah.
That'd be wild.
Oh man. But then you can bring back all those other characters like Bombshell and then you had Peter Parker, the clone, the female clone or whatever it was. The Jessica Drew of that world.
I would like that. I just don't know if it'll happen even with because obviously you even have this Ultimate Universe version that's very different than that one.
Yeah, you're true. You're right. You know, I don't know, man. We'll see. We'll see. Very interesting. Okay. So let's go on to our number 3. My number 3 was Superman issue 31. So we definitely talked about that. Brant, what was yours?
Mine was Fantastic Four, issue number 4. Just a one and done fun story about Alicia coming home, and they've got a new dog that's not a dog. It's actually an alien and all that stuff. And yeah, I just thought it was fun. Yeah, I mean, it's the artwork, obviously. I love, his art. So just a fun little side story that didn't really affect anything. It was just, had a good time with it.
I like this one too because it was very, it was a very different story. It's from the POV of Alicia. It was her interactions with people that you don't really usually see, like her talking to Reed. If you like the Fantastic Four, I think you'll enjoy that issue. And it shows that you can have like one and dones and still feel like it means something.
Yeah.
And I do like how they incorporate her into the team. Right. And I think that's what was cool. She was like,
that was tough.
Well, I'm not really part of the Fantastic Four. And then Reed, it's like, of course you are, and I really like that. So they look at her as she is important in that family.
Yeah.
So good stuff there. All right. So, Kat, what was your number 3?
Mine was Justice League Unlimited. So we already talked about
Gotcha. Okay, cool. So we talked about Green Lantern, and we talked about Omega Kids. So let's move on right away to our number 2. And I'll go back to Bryant. What was your number 2?
Mine was Exquisite Corpses. We already talked about it.
Gotcha. Mine was also Exquisite Corpses.
Oh.
So this hasn't happened in a while.
No, it hasn't. Our number 1s will be different, though.
Oh, yeah. What about you?
Mine's Superman.
Superman. Okay, so we're dancing around the Superman stuff for sure.
Funny.
Okay, so now we're going to talk about let's talk about this one first. It Killed Everyone But Me, issue 2. So my shop did have the second issue, and I was like, I remember the conversation we had at the show, so I was like, oh, let me pick it up. I'm like, this will make a true determining factor if I want to continue reading this. Nope, I'm done.
The second issue wasn't as strong, but I still gonna read it more because I like it, but issue 2 is not strong.
I don't like the monster. I don't like the villain. I think they try to make him scary and creepy, and I don't think they do a very good job. And I don't think the artwork is very fitting for the type of tone that they're going for in this comic. It's very similar to Something Is Killing the Children. The artwork is in here, but for me, it just doesn't work the same way. If they made this book a little darker, the creature a little bit more detailed and creepy, maybe. But I just found him annoying, and I was like, I don't want to read about this guy anymore.
I wanted more from her. I think that's the thing I was disappointed with, where it's like, that's what makes a final girl. It's like knowing more about her, and they focus so much on the monster that I was like.
And then she gets the investigator. I'm like, that's wimpy. I'm like, why are you getting the investigator to get involved?
Yeah. And it's like they kind of, I don't know, they kind of danced around the history of what happened with her and everything, and then it's like she's not upset that all of them died, and that's kind of I don't know how I feel about that, but yeah, this was a weaker issue than issue 1. I agree that the villain's kind of annoying. So I'm kind of on the fence about it right now. I think it's going to depend on the week for me. But
I think it's a mini series, right? It's not long.
Yeah,
it's a mini.
I don't know if it's 3 or 4 issues. I forgot. I don't think it's very long at all.
If it's 3, I'm going to finish it.
You're I'm going all the way, baby.
Obviously, yeah.
Let's see. I mean, my guess is 4, but let's see how much. Yeah, it looks like no, it's actually 5. So there you go.
5. Okay. Oh, it's way long. I'm definitely quitting now.
Yeah, I think if you don't love it now, I don't think there's a point.
I didn't like it. I didn't love it after issue 1, but I did like the premise of it. Like I did like the story, how it was introduced, and now it's just like, I don't know, man. It seemed like it already veered away from like what initially was about. You know,
I agree.
Like a completely different tone.
Yeah, it kind of led you to believe like it was the same monster that she was dealing with, but now it's like a completely different monster. There's a bunch of them and stuff like that. So
it's weird.
Different. Yeah.
I just think you need to focus on the final girl. That's always what's going to make a slasher better. So when you go into the mishmash of mythology, it's never going to make a better slasher story.
Yeah.
That's why, again, like why Thanksgiving worked, honestly. It was a one shot that just like, here's the girl, her relationship with the serial killer. This is what the serial killer does. That's it. That's the story.
And I think that's why, like in very many ways, like Something Is Killing the Children worked, because you're focusing. There is a supporting cast, but that main character, Erica Slaughter, is so unique and so different and so mesmerizing. Like you wanted to know more about her and why she kills these creatures, and you know the whole lore behind her was so different and unique, and so that's what made that book work, you know. And
her look, that's what a slasher does too. Like you remember Michael Myers, you remember,
correct?
You want to have an interesting look,
right? All right, so now let's go on to The Flash issue 26. For me, I felt that this was the weakest of the tie-ins that we read this week, and I feel like this is one of the ones where you definitely don't have to read to get the experience from DCKO. This just seems like a book where Impulse is on literally a side quest in hopes to stop the future from happening.
Yeah.
I thought Titans was a little weaker, but I think this was on par with Titans. It's just like, if you've been reading Flash, you'll continue to like this. If you've been reading Titans, you'll continue to like it. The other two feel like you should be reading it if you like the event. Especially Superman. It's just like that feels very tied into the event and what's going on with Superman. And Justice League Unlimited, I haven't been reading for a while and I didn't feel lost. I felt very tied into the event. But this is, I know it is Mark Waid, so it's a different writer, but it just still felt very like entwined with whatever's been going on in Flash.
Yeah, I felt this was weaker than Titans for me personally. This didn't feel like a necessary story, and it didn't feel like it added anything to DCKO.
Agreed.
So it was fun for what it was. But
yeah, it's not like it's a bad story.
No, not at all.
It's just as a tie-in,
right.
Out of all of them, this just doesn't feel like it is necessary at all.
Yeah, and none of us are reading The Flash, right?
Right. Yeah. No. Yeah. Exactly.
So, all right. So that brings us to our number 1 comic of the week. And Kat, what was yours?
Mine was Fantastic Four. I thought it was very fun, easy issue.
Gotcha. And Brant?
Mine was Superman. So it got 1, 2, and 3, I guess.
Gotcha. Mine was actually Universal Monsters, The Invisible Man issue.
I heard good things about this issue and this series in general. But
yeah, this was really good. The way it's written by James Tynion is amazing because you get into this character's head on everything that he's thinking and why he obviously is creating this formula, and he wants to already pretend that he is the Invisible Man. So he goes out there and dresses in like dark clothing and covers his eyes and tries to hide in the shadows to start practicing. And now he's trying to actually like perfect his formula. And he captures this kid. And well, he doesn't capture. He tells him, he's like, oh, you want to come with me? He's like, I'm a scientist, you know, you can stay, you get food and shelter. And the kid's like, okay. And so like he starts injecting him with a formula. And like literally the kid just like, the first thing that happens is he like becomes that, right? And the kid sees himself in the mirror. He starts freaking out, right? And he starts injecting him until he's like just eyes. And then he becomes invisible. And the scientist was going to kill the kid off. And then he notices that the kid wound up going missing. And so now the kid is out there and he's invisible. And you're just like, oh, shit. Like, what's this kid going to do? Now he's going to spill the beans on our main character or whatnot. I mean, it's really good. It's so good. Absolutely love this book. Never thought The Invisible Man was going to be such an awesome read, but it
sounds suspenseful. Yeah.
Yeah, it's very suspenseful.
I really like the movie with Kevin Bacon when he was.
I did too.
Yeah.
And they made a more updated version, I think, within the past couple
I really
years.
like that one.
Yeah, I haven't seen that one yet.
I have to watch
Moss.
that.
Yeah. It's more about like your surroundings and like the things you have in your head. It's good though. I like that one a lot. I didn't see the Kevin Bacon one, but I saw the more recent one.
Yeah. So
the Kevin Bacon one was interesting because I didn't mean to cut you off, Mike.
No, go ahead.
Because he, being invisible, he started to slowly kind of just get angrier and kind of not really lose his mind, but kind of lose himself a little bit, you know. So it led to, you know, him doing darker things, and it kept increasing.
So that's what happens in this, Brant, as well.
Yeah.
So he injects the formula into his test subjects, and he notices like them getting more angrier and stuff like that. So it's very cool.
Yeah.
So yeah,
that's two James Tynion books for you too, because the Exquisite Corpses and the Invisible Man are both Tynion books.
Yep, they're really good. All right, so with that being said, Brent, we'll pass it on to you.
All right, so time for those most anticipated books we're looking forward to tomorrow. And again, just for anybody new out there, most anticipated doesn't necessarily mean they're the ones we're most excited about. We're just, you know, we could be curious, we could be interested, intrigued, whatever. All right, so let's start with Black Cat issue number 3, which is on Mike's list. So she's turned into a hero now, and she's been fighting crime and all that good stuff. I don't remember. Is it Sandman this issue? Is that who she's?
I think so. Yeah, and I think what it is.
Yeah,
I think what it is too is I think the hero or the villains have been waiting to see if she's an asset or is she a liability at this point. And I think now they realize that she is a liability, and now she's going to obviously, I would say, fight against the people that she's been working with all these years. So I'm definitely looking forward to those interactions and to see what G. Willow Wilson does to continue to add layers to the character.
Yeah, for sure. I think we've all enjoyed this one so far.
Yeah.
All right, let's jump over to you, Kat, with all new Spider-Gwen, issue number 3 as well.
Like I was saying earlier about Stephanie Phillips, I just think she's
Yeah.
been doing a really good job at a series that feels impossible to do a good job at.
Right.
So I did give her kudos to just make this an interesting series where she has a lot of hurdles to jump through, and it's an interesting murder mystery. It's darker than your average Spider-Girl type series, and I'm having a good time with it.
And this issue, I believe we get the revelation of the killer, which it's pretty predictable,
Yeah.
who the killer is, but yeah. All right. So mine is a Cloak or Dagger issue 1, and the reason I'm curious about this, and I know we've kind of bagged on this one a little bit. It's a Age of Revelation tie-in and all that, but I think the premise of it is intriguing because they in the future they actually got married.
Yeah.
But once they got married, I guess because of the virus and everything, they can't occupy the same plane of existence simultaneously. So they can't be together.
Exactly.
Who's writing this?
I don't remember. Let me look it up.
You have to tell me if it's very much worth reading, because I am right now initially skipping this because I haven't loved it a lot of the Revelation books. I've been trying to skim them down, but if you're like, Kat, you got to read this, I'll give it a read.
Yeah, for sure. It's Justina Ireland, so I haven't read too much by her.
Yeah, me either.
So I'm not sure.
I've read a couple things. I'm gonna give this a try. Because like you said, the premise does sound interesting. So I'll definitely. It's gonna be curious. I want to see like how they is one page gonna be, Cloak, and the other page gonna be Dagger, like. If they can't be together, that's why obviously it's called Cloak or Dagger.
Right.
So I don't know. We'll see. Could be a one and done. Never know.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting though. All right, I'll skip that next one. We'll go straight to Feral, issue number 17. I think this starts like this big war in the Pet City where they're trying to fight the people for control or whatever. I don't remember.
I haven't liked this arc as much as previous arcs, though. I had like a lot of hype for this arc, and it so far hasn't met my expectations.
So this is where the action happens.
Start to pick up,
because it's like, yes, they started the fight in the last issue, but Elsie opened the doors. And so the doors opened,
That's
and now
right.
the cats and dogs and raccoons and whatever else out there has the rabies is coming in the pet store. And so now you're probably going to see some crazy chaos and mayhem take place in this issue.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, looking forward to it. All right, I'll jump to my last one. Well, not my last one, but Supernatural. We already talked about it earlier, so I won't spend any more time on that. Runaways issue number 5 is one of yours, Kat.
It's the last issue of this miniseries. Exactly. We never know when we're gonna get more Rainbow, so I'm very much anticipating to see how they end things.
Yeah, I wish it was more, and I wish it didn't have to be tied into One World Under Doom and all that stuff. So, fingers crossed.
I've been saying that. That's the frustrating part. Again, having a really great series that a handful of people like, enough of a handful of people that I think would make good trade sales. And from what I could see, sells consistently enough. Obviously, it was a pretty long-running series previously. It was very frustrating to see these fan favorite series just not continue. I was talking to somebody else recently today about Exceptional X-Men, where it's like, oh, that's probably going to end. You're like, what? It's like, because they have an event and it's most likely going to end. And that sucks because it's a character that doesn't always get the spotlight. So it's just like, I like these fan favorite series, and it's just such a shame when the stories are, again, I know not everyone liked Exceptional X-Men, but anyone who's reading Runaways who loves Runaways loves this run. Like, there's no one that hates this run by any means. So it's frustrating to see them. But also I'm happy we got the 5 issues, because in another reality, we wouldn't have gotten them.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I'm really glad we got these 5 issues at least. So we'll see. All right, and then the last book we have to talk about is the only book that was on all 3 of our lists, which is Absolute Batman Annual, which is Daniel Warren Johnson. So
something I was thinking of while we were doing this, it's so cool to be living in a time where both Absolute is this huge thing, obviously huge thing. I was talking about New York Comic Con in that episode and like how many people lined up. but all at the same time, you're having this big event like DCKO, which is Blackest Night level storytelling. And you're like, man, we're living in a good time of comics if you can have like 2 of the universes doing so extremely well. It doesn't usually happen, you know?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's crazy to have it line up like that. I don't remember a time, maybe I don't remember exactly what else was going on in Marvel during the
Ultimate
first Ultimate
Spider-Man.
Universe. Yeah. I don't remember if that was like in the middle of all those big events that were, making headlines and everything or not, or if that was a different time altogether. But if it was, that would be the only kind of time I could remember that was similar to this. But
yeah, it just feels so epic and big. And obviously having one of the biggest artists, writers doing whatever the hell he wants on Absolute Batman is
cool,
huge.
yeah.
He has no holds barred. You allow him to do anything you want. Like that's what comics should be.
Right.
I really do think this is, and I think it started last year. It was building, and I think 2025 has been the best year of comics that we have had, and I couldn't tell you how long. When you have the way DC is working right now, when it comes to, their main comics, which has improved dramatically, right? And you look at the Absolute Universe, and then you look at the independent comic books, whether, it is Image or Ghost Machine or Energon Universe. Like, look at all those stories that are out right now. Like, how often are you looking forward to reading? I know Kat's in a different line of like when it comes to those particular books, but how many people are really excited about Transformers, G.I. Joe, Void Rivals, Geiger, just Hyde Street, like all those different types of books. Like, and then you got the Spawn books as well. Like there's that audience for Spawn. There's so many just good independent books just in general. Like, I feel like it's just awesome. And the only people that are just not there, that are still stuck in the status quo, is Marvel. And I felt like they almost quite got there a little bit when the Ultimate Universe came out. And then it fizzled out when they found out, okay, we're ending at issue 24 or 25 or whatever it is. And then it just like fizzled out.
And the other series weren't as successful. Like Black Panther didn't make as much movement. Ultimates made a little bit more movement, but X-Men wasn't as big as I think they wanted it to be. Like only Ultimate Spider-Man was making those bigger waves. And I think that was hard. But it's really cool to be going to the comic book store and getting like 15, 16 books almost on a weekly basis now. And again, it is a lot of comics. But I remember the days like 2 years ago where I was only getting like 8 or 9 or 10. And now I'm getting like 15 almost every week. I'm getting like 15 comics.
Yeah,
and that doesn't
include
include
huge change for you, yeah.
And that doesn't even include like, I don't read the Energon stuff and I don't read the Ghost Machine stuff. And honestly, in another reality, I probably would have kept Hyde Street, but because I'm reading so many comics, I couldn't keep reading High Street because it was just like, I liked the book, but I felt like, okay, I like horror, but it felt a little serialized for me, even though I know it has a bigger story. But like, that's a book I probably would have kept 2 years ago because I'm like, oh, this is really good. And I don't have other books to read. But now I'm just like, well, I have to fight you for like DCKO or Feral or a smaller book. Like I for me personally, I'd rather read a Ryan Parrott book from Mad Cave than maybe the Hyde Street book. But I also see the quality in all those books as well.
Yeah, and that's part of it too. It's like the variety of what we have available right now between like all those different, smaller studios like Mad Cave and larger ones like
Murder
like
Podcast.
Boom and Murder Podcast, Ignition Press or whatever it's called, and just all these. Yeah, it's so many options in like the nostalgia series like Space Ghost and Flash Gordon, things like that. Just
Supernatural.
So much. Yeah, Supernatural. There's so much to choose from, and then you go into the Kickstarter market and all that stuff. So it's just
you got to get
really
SWAT cats now.
SWAT cats. Yeah. There's so much to choose from. It's such a good time.
Yeah, and honestly, absolutely. Like I was also just looking at like the numbers or like Witches of Oz, and I'm like so thankful in that regard too. And the other side of indie comics, where it's like, oh man, I've been able to build like an audience that like these specific line of books and be able to make a career out of this because they like these specific line of books, and to see like the follow count go up just because you announce it. And, you know, we've been doing a lot of podcasts since the ring goes. Like almost every night has been booked with podcasts. I'm like, oh, that's kind of cool too. Yeah. So like even from a Kickstarter point of view or again, a Webtoon point of view, whatever it is, it's just there's different ways to read comics. And I'm very happy to live in this this era of comics, and then seeing the tweets saying like how sales are going up really high, even with the diamond situation. And it does make me really sad with Marvel because I'm like, I want you to be there, like celebrating with everybody else in this great time of comics. And again, I always say this is coming from such a big Marvel fan. Like I love Marvel and I hate dogging on it. I want to celebrate it.
I mean, when was the last time you had like phenomenal sales? I think it was like maybe Ultimate Spider-Man issue 1 when that first came out. And you look at DC right now and you had, you know, Absolute Batman do killer sales. You had the most recent one with Catwoman do, you know, awesome sales. You even had the Mark Spears Monsters who 350,000 copies from a Keen Spot publisher. Like it's just amazing of how the sales have continued to improve. And it's kind of interesting because I would love to see the grand scope of comic book sales like we used to before COVID, you know,
especially
what I'm saying?
Digitally too. I hear the digital is like been right here, but physical's actually been going really high sky, which I'm really, really happy about.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And like I was telling you guys, just, you know, seeing more young people getting into it too, it's really cool. It's really cool to see.
Yeah,
and I'll say Ghost Machine in particular, from what I could see, has really been helping the younger. And honestly, Absolute, I would say Absolute's probably the gateway.
I would say
Absolute,
and then I would say probably Ghost Machine. I would.
I don't think it's Transformers, but
well, I wouldn't say that. I think people are getting into Transformers because they hear it, right, and they've seen movies. Right?
You think the younger people just getting into comics are getting?
I think they're getting the comics because they hear what it's about.
Mm-hmm.
And Daniel Warren Johnson, being the name that he is, got people into that. And now they're discovering all these things for the first time. They're like, wait a second, like G.I. Joe, Transformers connected, like that's a real thing. And now, like Brett and I were gonna have a conversation about Mask on how like it's going to be connected as well. And it's going to be interesting to see how the younger audience takes that because they don't even know what the hell Mask is.
Right.
And they're going to be like, who's Mask? And these guys are connected to all this.
Yeah. Yeah. Some of the ones that I watch, definitely Ghost Machine is one of the things they talk about, but they also talk about Daniel Warren Johnson. And I agree with Mike. I think that was an entrance. He was an entrance into Transformers specifically.
I could see that because he's obviously a very like up and coming creator. Right. I'm curious now that he's gone if people are sticking with something like again, younger people are sticking with Transformers, but it's also Robert Kirkman, and I'm guessing these younger people also people
know Robert Kirkman.
They'll know Robert Kirkman too. So that's.
But no, I definitely been seeing like you were saying, like younger people getting into again. I think Absolute is the gateway, though. If I had to say anything, I think Absolute is definitely where people,
I would probably agree.
I know we're saying talking about it because people I know are like, "What's Absolute Batman?" They're not like, "What's Geiger?"
Sure, yeah.
It's like I think what it is like Absolute Batman is like the gateway, right? So it's like, oh, I like this. So is there any other good comic books? And then you'd be like, well, why don't you check out this book? And then you slide over Rook Exodus, and then you look at that artwork in Rook Exodus, and you're going to be like, that's pretty sick. So I want to read that, you know, and then you're like, oh, what else is out there? And then you just kind of that's how you slowly introduce them to other books, you know?
Yeah.
I just want to see it continue to grow, and I think we will. And I obviously want to see diversity too. I want to see like different types of books because like obviously those are all very action-y books. Those are very all action-heavy books. So I would like to see. I remember like when Lumberjanes was popular, like books like that do really well. It would be nice to see, or at least like people appreciate the aftermarket a little bit more. And that's why I have a big thing with Runaways because I'm sure those books do very well in trade. I don't think they do well in floppy because I don't think the Wednesday Warriors are getting it as much. But I think the Barnes and Noble people are. I think the Amazon people are, and It sucks that that's not as looked at as often, which is weird because that is where your money is. So why don't you just wait a few months and, spend the money to see if it's going to do well or not? So that's always, especially Rainbow, who is like a YA novelist where people just follow her because she's a YA novel. It's just strange to me, but I would like to see that too. I want to see other comics do well as well, not just the action comics, which obviously I like action comics, but I want to see diverse storytelling in that regard. But yeah, that was just something I thought about as we were having this conversation.
Nice. Well, it was a good conversation. Good way to end the show.
Absolutely.
So that's it. We talked about all our number ones.
Yep.
Yeah, we did.
Oh, yeah.
Right. Awesome. Well, there you guys have it. Hopefully you enjoyed tonight's show. It is now officially New Comic Book Day. So happy New Comic Book Day. Hopefully you get all the comics that you are looking for this particular week and maybe some more. And as always, guys, make sure you subscribe to all our channels. Comic Book Corner 2.0, Cat at Comic Uno, Brant at Only Good Comics. Don't forget to hit those bells so you don't miss any content from us. Like I said, give us a thumbs up on the way out. And again, guys, happy Halloween for sure. If you guys celebrate Halloween, you going out, please be safe. And we'll see you next week. So have a wonderful New Comic Book Day, guys. Take care.